Have you ever wondered why your blood pressure remains high heaven when you've cut the salt, exercised daily, and followed your doctor's advice to the letter? Why, despite doing everything right, do those numbers on the monitor never seem to budge? What if the answer isn't what you're avoiding, but how you're consuming something you already believe is healthy? You see, there's one fruit, a simple, common fruit you may already have in your kitchen that has the potential to naturally lower your blood pressure. But here's the catch. It only works if you eat it in a very specific way, and when eaten incorrectly, it can silently do the opposite. Let me explain. Most people think they understand nutrition. Fruits are healthy, they say. You can't go wrong with nature. But the truth is more complicated, especially for people over 50. Because as we age, our metabolism slows, our vascular system becomes more sensitive, and even healthy foods begin to affect our bodies differently. The fruit I'm going to reveal to you today is praised in nearly every diet, listed in countless health articles, and often touted as a cure-all for inflammation, immunity, even heart health. But nearly everyone eats it the wrong way, and that mistake is costing you. Let's rewind. High blood pressure, or hypertension, is often called the silent killer. It creeps up slowly, without symptoms. And before you know it, your arteries are hardening, your heart is straining, and your risk for stroke and heart attack is quietly rising. So what if I told you that the key to reversing that pressure doesn't lie in pills, but in unlocking the secret of this misunderstood fruit? First, let's talk about what's happening inside your body. Every day, your blood vessels expand and contract to accommodate the pressure of blood being pumped by your heart. But as you get older, those vessels become less elastic. And certain foods, especially those that spike your insulin, increase sodium retention, or trigger inflammation, make things even worse. Enter the fruit in question, the humble banana. Yes, the banana. The soft, sweet, potassium-packed fruit you probably eat for breakfast or blend into your smoothies. But here's what nobody's telling you. Bananas can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. Eaten correctly, bananas are a natural blood pressure regulator. They're rich in potassium, which helps counteract sodium in the body. They relax the walls of your arteries and promote better circulation. A single medium banana provides around 422 milligrams of potassium, decent chunk of the daily recommendation. But this is crucial if you eat bananas the wrong way, at the wrong time. They can raise your blood sugar, trigger fluid retention, and cause your blood pressure to spike without you even realizing it. Let me break it down. Most people consume bananas when they're overly ripe. Yellow with brown spots, soft, extra sweet. It tastes better, right? But when a banana ripens, its starches convert into simple sugars. That spotted banana you're eating, it might as well be candy for your bloodstream. The sugar enters fast, spikes your glucose, and prompts an insulin surge. That insulin tells your body to hold on to sodium, and that raises blood pressure. Now combine that with a morning coffee and a carb-heavy breakfast, and what you have is the perfect recipe for vascular stress. So what should you do? Here's the first secret. Eat bananas when they're slightly green. That's right. Unripe bananas are actually more beneficial if you're trying to control your blood pressure. Why? Because in their unripe state, bananas contain resistant starcha type of fiber that doesn't get digested like sugar. It passes through the gut slowly, feeds healthy bacteria, and doesn't spike your blood glucose levels. In fact, resistant starch has been linked to improved insulin sensitivity and reduced inflammation. Unripe bananas still deliver potassium, but they don't deliver the sugar crash. Second secret, don't eat bananas on an empty stomach. This is especially true for older adults or those with insulin resistance. Pairing bananas with a source of healthy fat or protein like almond butter, chia pudding, or a few nuts slows digestion and keeps your blood sugar stable. Doing this ensures the potassium does its job without the glucose sabotage. Still skeptical? Let's go deeper. Researchers at Harvard found that diets rich in potassium but low in sugar led to significant drops in systolic and diastolic blood pressure. But when potassium-rich foods were consumed with high glycemic meals, the benefits were often canceled out. Now let me ask you, How many times have you eaten a banana with cereal, pancakes, or toast? You might be unknowingly feeding your hypertension while believing you're making a healthy choice. This subtle nutritional trap is what trips up millions. And there's more. If you take blood pressure medication, especially ACE inhibitors or diuretics, your potassium balance is already delicate. Eating a large, ripe banana on an empty stomach could actually disrupt that balance. It might even lead to lightheadedness, fatigue, or worse heart palpitations. This isn't fear-mongering. This is physiology. Your body runs on balance, and even the healthiest food can become harmful if consumed without awareness. Now, let's talk about a third, rarely mentioned secret. Timing. When you eat a banana matters just as much as how you eat it. Your cortisol levels, the stress hormone, are naturally highest in the early morning. Eating sugary fruits like ripe bananas during that window can worsen stress responses in the body. This means more inflammation, higher blood sugar, and, yes, tighter arteries. But in the afternoon or evening, your body is calmer. Your insulin sensitivity improves slightly, and your digestive tract is more receptive to the benefits of slow digesting fiber and potassium. So instead of making bananas your first bite of the day, try saving them for a mid-afternoon snack. Pair them with a protein. Choose them green. And most importantly, listen to your body. Do your legs feel heavier after breakfast? Do you experience sudden energy crashes? Mild swelling in your feet or hands? Don't ignore these signs. Your body is speaking. Let's shift now, because understanding bananas is just the beginning. There's another fruit more exotic, less common, but incredibly potent that's quietly being studied for its ability to naturally lower blood pressure. Unlike bananas, this fruit isn't widely consumed in the West. But in countries like India and Japan, it's a staple of traditional medicine. I'm talking about the hibiscus fruities, the same plant used in herbal teas. But here's the twist. The hibiscus calyx, the fleshy part around the flower, when steeped and consumed regularly, has been shown in multiple studies to lower blood pressure as effectively as some prescription medications. One 2008 study published in the Journal of Human Hypertension found that participants who drank hibiscus tea daily saw a 7-point drop in systolic pressure in just 6 weeks. But few know that you can also eat the calyx raw, pickled, or blended into smoothies. And when consumed this way, it retains even more anthocyanins, which are powerful vasodilators. Anthocyanins help open your blood vessels, ease tension in arterial walls, and improve circulation, all without side effects. Still, hibiscus isn't without its guidelines. Just like bananas, if you consume it incorrectly, especially in concentrated supplement form without food, it may cause your blood pressure to drop too low, particularly if you're on meds. Again, it's not about good or bad. It's about awareness. Let's summarize. Not with a list, but with clarity. If you're struggling with high blood pressure, and you've been told to just eat healthy, remember this. Healthy isn't just about what you eat, it's about when, how, and with what. A banana is not just a banana. A tea is not just a tea. And your body, aging and evolving, needs specific nutrition tailored to your biology today, not what worked for you at 30. The truth is, high blood pressure can feel like a curse, but it's not your fault. You've been doing your best. You've followed the rules, but the rules have changed. Now it's time for you to change with them. And here's what they won't tell you. Lowering blood pressure isn't just about avoiding what's harmful. It's about activating what's protective. Which brings us to a concept. Few people understand nutritional synergy. When certain foods are combined correctly, their nutrients work together, amplifying each other's effects. But when combined poorly, they can cancel each other out or worse, cause internal stress. Take bananas again. Eaten alone, especially ripe, they raise blood sugar. But pair them with a handful of walnuts rich in omega-3s and magnesium and something remarkable happens. The fat slows digestion. The magnesium supports muscle relaxation. And the potassium has more time to reach your blood vessels. The result? A gentle drop in blood pressure. Not a crash, not a spike, just stability. This is the kind of eating that heals. Let's look at another fruit, pomegranate. Often labeled a superfood, and for good reason. The juice of this ruby red fruit is packed with punicalagins, which are antioxidants shown to protect the inner lining of your arteries, called the endothelium. A study published in Clinical Nutrition showed that just 1 cup of pomegranate juice per day for 2 weeks reduced systolic blood pressure by up to 5 mmHg in participants with hypertension. But once again, context is key. The problem is, most people consume pomegranate in juice form, loaded with added sugars, stripped of fiber, and served cold on an empty stomach. That version? Not much better than soda. So what's the right way? Eat the arils, the whole seeds. Chew them, don't juice them. And eat them after a protein-rich meal. Why? Because the fiber in the seeds slows the absorption of sugar, and the punicalagins are better absorbed with dietary fat. Add some seeds to a Greek yogurt with chia or flax, and you've just created an anti-hypertensive combo that your arteries will thank you for. This is nutritional strategy, not guesswork. Let's keep going. Another quiet hero for blood pressure: kiwi. Yes, that fuzzy green fruit you often ignore at the store. 3 small kiwis a day have been shown to lower blood pressure more effectively than apples, a finding published in the journal Blood Pressure in 2011. The key lies in their high levels of lutein and vitamin C, which combat oxidative stress, a major driver of vascular aging. But let me ask, have you ever eaten the skin? Most people peel it, discarding the part richest in fiber and antioxidants. Try this. Slice a golden kiwi. It has smoother, thinner skin, and eat it whole. You'll get more fiber, more satiety, and better blood sugar control, all supporting lower pressure. The solution isn't to eat less, it's to eat smarter. Now, let's pause, because everything I've told you so far, all these benefits and warnings, they mean nothing without consistency. Your arteries don't care about what you ate once last week. They care about what you eat every single day. Because blood pressure isn't a condition, it's a pattern. The way you wake up, the way you combine your meals, the way you hydrate, these patterns determine whether your vessels constrict or relax, whether your heart strains or coasts. And one of the most overlooked weapons you have is something so simple it's almost embarrassing. Beetroot. Yes, beets. This deep red root vegetable contains nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide, a molecule that helps your blood vessels expand. A study from hypertension research revealed that drinking a single glass of beet juice per day could lower blood pressure within 6 hours. The effect? Almost as strong as low-dose medication. But here's the key. Cooking destroys the nitrates. So if you're eating roasted beets hoping for results, you're missing the mark. The right way? Raw grated beet salad. Or even better, fermented beet kvass, traditional Eastern European tonic that preserves the nitrates and adds beneficial probiotics. That's synergy again. Gut health plus vascular health equals long-term stability. Let's step back for a moment and be honest. Most people aren't ready to think this deeply about fruit. They want simple answers. Eat this, don't eat that, black and white. But you're here, which tells me you're different. You want to understand your body. So let's go further. There's a dark side to certain fruits that are supposed to help with blood pressure but only appear to do so. Take orange juice. It's been promoted for decades as heart healthy, rich in vitamin C, a breakfast staple. But the reality? Commercial orange juice, pasteurized, concentrated, and stripped of pulpus, one of the biggest hidden drivers of insulin resistance in seniors. And when insulin resistance increases, so does blood pressure. Sure, oranges have potassium, but the trade-off isn't worth it. If you love citrus, opt for grapefruit with caution. Here's why. Grapefruit contains naringin, a compound that naturally improves arterial function and reduces oxidative stress. Butane, this is critical, it also interferes with statins, blood pressure meds, and anti-anxiety drugs. It slows the liver enzymes that process these medications, leading to potentially dangerous levels in your bloodstream. So, if you're on medication, grapefruit may do more harm than good. This is the level of detail you need to protect your health. No guesswork, no trends, just understanding. Let's wrap this part with one final fruit. It's often overlooked. It doesn't have a bright color or exotic origin, but it might just be the most powerful blood pressure regulator of all. Avocado. Yes, it's technically a fruit, and it's one of the only ones rich in monounsaturated fat, magnesium, and potassium all in one package. Avocados help lower LDL cholesterol, reduce arterial stiffness, and stabilize insulin response. But even here, mistakes are made. People mash them on white bread, they drown them in salt, they eat them with processed meats. Don't do that. Here's how you maximize the benefit. Half an avocado, mashed with a squeeze of lemon, a sprinkle of flaxseed, and served on sprouted grain bread or with raw veggies. That's how you create a meal that doesn't just feed your hunger but nourishes your vessels. Because your blood pressure isn't just a number. It's a reflection of your daily choices. And now that you know the truth that even the most harmless fruit can betray you if consumed incorrectly, it's time to eat with intention. To choose what truly serves you. Because your heart is working every second to keep you alive. Isn't it time your food helped it do that job? But let's not stop at fruit. Because blood pressure isn't managed in isolation, it's part of a larger system, a web of hormones, enzymes, inflammation, and circulation. And the wrong choices, even small ones, ripple through that system quietly. Let's talk about a dangerous assumption. That natural equals safe. There's a popular fruit you've probably eaten countless times, possibly even today, that embodies this lie. Dates. Sweet, natural, energy boosting, common in healthy bars and vegan treats. But here's what they rarely mention. Dates are a glycemic time bomb. Just 2 medjool dates can deliver more than 30 grams of sugar. That's higher than a glazed donut. Yes, they contain potassium, but the sugar surge negates the benefit. If you eat dates without balancing themes, especially if you're sedentary, over 50, or on blood pressure medication, you're asking for silent arterial inflammation. It's not about banning fruit. It's about knowing the threshold. Your arteries aren't afraid of sugar. They're afraid of frequency. When you hit your system with sugar too often, your insulin surges. And repeated insulin surges harden the walls of your arteries. Which brings us to insulin hormone nobody talks about in the blood pressure discussion. Everyone focuses on sodium. Few discuss how insulin controls sodium retention. When insulin rises, your kidneys hold on to sodium. That sodium raises fluid volume, and fluid volume raises pressure. It's not just about what's salty, it's about what's sweet. That's why fruit must be timed, balanced, and respected. Let's shift again, this time to a fruit most people wrongly avoid. Berries. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, strawberries. These are low-glycemic, high antioxidant powerhouses that fight the very causes of high blood pressure, oxidative stress, inflammation, and poor circulation. A 2019 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that just 1 cup of blueberries per day improved blood vessel function in adults over 50. The secret? Anthocyanins, the same pigment responsible for their deep color. These compounds improve nitric oxide availability, relax your arteries, and lower resistance in blood flow. But don't blend them into a sugar-loaded smoothie with banana and yogurt and honey. Eat them whole, with fat, and slowly. Try this, a bowl of fresh berries with crushed walnuts and unsweetened Greek yogurt. This isn't just a snack, it's a therapeutic tool for your arteries. Still with me? Good, because now we're going to talk about fruit sequencing, a concept most people have never heard of, but one that can dramatically affect your blood pressure. Sequencing means the order in which you eat your food. Studies show that eating fiber and fat before carbohydrates slows glucose absorption, reduces insulin response, and lowers post-meal blood pressure spikes. So if you're having a meal with fruit, eat your fiber-rich vegetables or protein source first, then the fruit. Example: instead of starting with an apple, have your salad and lean protein first. Then enjoy a small portion of apple. The result? Stable blood sugar, calm insulin, steady pressure. This is how you retrain your metabolism without eliminating the foods you enjoy. And it gets even better. Because there's one more fruit often hidden in the spice aisle that deserves a spotlight. Amla, also known as Indian gooseberry. This tiny, bitter fruit has been revered in Ayurvedic medicine for centuries. But modern science is catching up. In a study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food, amla extract was shown to significantly lower both systolic and diastolic blood pressure in patients with mild to moderate hypertension comparable to pharmaceutical beta blockers, but without the side effects. What's the mechanism? Amla is rich in polyphenols, which reduce arterial stiffness. It also enhances endothelial nitric oxide synthase, improving vascular elasticity. But here's the kicker. Amla is incredibly sour and astringent when raw. So how should you consume it? Try it dried and unsweetened, or as a powder mixed into water with a pinch of black pepper. You'll get the benefits without the sugar. Let's pause. You've now learned that bananas must be unripe, paired with fat or protein, and eaten at the right time. Pomegranate, kiwi, and berries must be consumed whole, not juiced. Beets must be raw or fermented. Dates and orange juice, while natural, can be silently dangerous. Avocados and amla are medicinal when used correctly. So what's left? Consistency. It's not what you do once, it's what you do daily that rewires your health. If you start tomorrow with a green banana, eaten with chia and almond butter, and end your day with a few berries and a cup of hibiscus tea, if you replace that morning glass of juice with lemon water and a walk, if you learn to combine food not just by taste, but by purpose, your blood pressure will begin to shift. Not because of a miracle, but because of mastery. The mastery of how fruit, when respected and understood, becomes a form of medicine. And that's what nobody teaches you. Not the food companies, not the commercials, sometimes not even your doctor. But you now know. You now have the map. And tomorrow, when you look at your plate, you'll know which fruits are friends and which are friendly only under the right terms. The choice is no longer mysterious. It's yours. Now let's bring everything together. Because knowledge is powerful, but transformation only happens when that knowledge turns into ritual. So ask yourself, what would it look like to treat every piece of fruit not as a snack, but as a tool? A tool that either relieves or worsens your pressure. That either softens your arteries or stiffens them. That either brings you peace or adds to your hidden stress. Let's imagine a day built entirely around fruit synergy and vascular support. You wake up, no sugary cereal, no ripe banana, no orange juice. Instead, you start with a warm glass of lemon water and a teaspoon of chia seeds soaked overnight. That hydration sends a calming message to your vessels. You're safe. Mid-morning, half an unripe banana with a spoonful of almond butter. Slow digesting, steady energy, gentle pressure support. Lunch, a salad with arugula, beets, raw or fermented, olive oil, and avocado, finished with a handful of pomegranate seeds fresh, not juiced. Afternoon, a handful of berries, blueberries, raspberries spared with a small portion of full-fat yogurt. If you want something warm, hibiscus tea with a slice of ginger. Dinner, lean protein, steamed greens, quinoa, or lentils. And if you're still hungry, a couple of slices of golden kiwi with the skin on. Before bed, a tiny scoop of dried amla powder in warm water with a sprinkle of cinnamon. That's not a diet. That's a strategy, a ritual, a form of self-respect. This is how you lower your blood pressure without panic, pills, or punishment. And here's the final truth. It's not about removing fruit. It's about removing ignorance. The most dangerous part of any diet isn't sugar or fat or carbs. It's the false belief that all healthy things are good for you at all times. They're not. Even nature's gifts must be handled with wisdom. Because you're not just managing numbers on a screen. You're protecting your ability to walk without pain, sleep without swelling, stand up without dizziness, live without fear. And for that, you need clarity. So, the next time you walk through the fruit aisle, I want you to look differently. Ask yourself not just, is this healthy? But, how does this fruit interact with me, at my age, with my needs, in this moment? That's the difference between blindly eating and deliberately healing. Now, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not too late. Your arteries are listening. Your body is responding. And every single choice you make from this moment forward sends a signal, either one of harm or one of healing. Choose the one fruit that supports you. Eat it the right way, and let your body feel the difference. This isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call. And if you made it this far, it means you're ready. So let's do this together. In the comments, tell me, what's one fruit you'll never look at the same way again? And if this opened your eyes a little, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because here, we don't just share tips, we share truth. Stay aware, stay empowered. And remember, your heart is still listening. Let it hear the right message, right food, right way, right time. Your future depends on it.